Hi everyone. Today we will try to analyze the different components of the IGCSE Biology 0610, the extended form. We will try to break up the components and have a brief introduction about each component of the paper, of the subject. Now, IGCSE Biology extended form has three components: Paper 2, Paper 4, and Paper 6. Paper 2 is entirely MCQ based paper. It has 40 questions with 45 minutes duration. That roughly makes it 1 minute per question. Cambridge is very expert in actually devising the questions where we have the distract options as well. The distraction options seem quite right if a student does not have the proper concept of the question, of the topic, or does not read the question properly. So we have to read the stem of the question, try to answer it in our head, and then use the elimination form. In the elimination form of the procedure, we eliminate the options which seem to be quite distant from the answer. And then we properly think about the options which are related to the question. So we have to read the options properly, where we have to see the words or always or all of them, each factor. So these words most of the times they will distract, have a different meaning if we don't pay any attention to these questions. The questions usually are as per the sequence of the syllabus. First questions from the first topic, like we have the questions of the classification and the five kingdoms. Then we have the questions upon the biological molecules, the enzymes. The food tests are always being asked. The questions over there, we must know the proper food test for each biological molecule, what is the positive result, and how the test is carried out. Paper 4 is the structured questions, has a weightage of 80 marks, which makes 50% of the total marks of the biology. So it's a heavy grade question, paper as well actually. And we have structured questions in it. The questions will have different, actually we have to read the question properly. If the question says state or name or identify, this question contains usually 1 mark. So we have to just, the answer should be one word or one phrase. We don't need to write any details in such type of the questions. If the questions asks us describe means we have to write down what we see. For example, we see a graph where the temperature is there affecting the rate of respiration. So we'll write down what we see from the graph, like the rate of respiration increases as the temperature increases, the rate of respiration decreases as the temperature decreases. But if the question asks us explain, then we have to give the reason for what we see. Means if the rate of respiration increases when the temperature increases, we have to write down the reason why such thing happens. So normally the questions will be, we have the heavy questions from the plant physiology about the plant's structures, the leaf structure, xylem and phloem, photosynthesis. Animal physiology we have about the different systems, digestive system, the circulatory system. We have the questions from the inheritance, the pedigree questions are most challenging questions most of the times. We have the questions upon the human influence on the ecosystem or from the genetic engineering. So we must have proper concept about these topics so that we can write down the points which are related to the question what they are asking us. Paper 6 is the alternate practical paper which has a weightage of 40 marks and a duration of 1 hour. We don't need to have the deep knowledge about biology in this paper, but we must know the things like how to read a graph, find the errors, make the sketch the diagrams, make a large diagram like the magnified diagrams we have to make. Whenever the question asks about the magnified diagrams, our diagram should always be larger than what it is on the paper. It should not be having any sketching or the shading, which is not allowed. No arrow heads to label the drawings. And if the question asks to show the tissue, we will not show any individual cells in it. Similarly, we have a question coming in paper 6, which has a weightage from 5 to 7 marks. Sometimes it is 6, sometimes it is 7. Where we have to plan an experiment. In that experiment, most of the students struggle in answering that question properly and lose marks over there. So we must plan the experiment properly so that we mention it, what is the independent variable, how we change the independent variable, what is the dependent variable, how we measure the dependent variable, what are the standard variables that we don't change. We must mention that we must repeat each procedure so that we identify the anomalous results, we get rid of we can take the mean, we get the reliable results. Then we must mention the safety measures as well. Hope in our next podcast we'll come with the introduction to the AS biology.